about Fantastic Four. So we finally, this has been a thing that we've been hearing about for quite a long time now, and that I've been kind of looking forward to. A lot of folks really, of course, down on the idea of Fox still having the rights to this, much less who's making it, who's in it, all that kind of stuff. And I really wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt, all this time, even over the last couple of days, seeing negative reviews of it and stuff. And finally, it's here, and we got to see it. I was really looking forward to it. And it's going to be interesting talking about it. So, Vince, give us just a really brief synopsis of Fantastic Four. I feel like that should be pretty easy.
Well, group of mechanical and electrical and apparently patterns and quantum scientists.
See, I thought you were going to go engineers after all that. That works for everything but patterns.
Yeah, that's why I said scientists.
Patterns engineer.
Yep.
Yeah,
and so all these scientists get together trying to create a interdimensional travel or in general teleportation device. And so these scientists and friend come together to make together to make a device that functions, but they make bad decisions and they end up getting powers as a result. So,
yep,
that's in a nutshell kind of what it is. That's not entirely different than the normal Fantastic Four stories.
Yeah, and it's not all that different, really, as far as just the bare bones of the origin than the film we got, a decade ago, except for what it is that leads them in the first place. Because this time it's like it's a bad choice, and they're kind of having to pay for it with this curse of these powers. Played up a lot more of a curse I think for all of them this time than it has been before. And but it has a similar thing in that it is pretty much just origin, right? It's not really the origin happens, then we tell a story. It's the whole movie is they get powers, and then what happens. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Vince. Well, why don't you tell us how you felt about this brand new version of Fantastic Four?
This movie makes me feel like my friend broke my toys on accident while playing in a sandbox.
Yep. That one actually, even though it's still kind of a metaphor. I mean, it's not kind of. That's a metaphor. Actually, it's more of a simile, really, because it's like. But that's a little more straightforward than some of your other metaphorical boards, man. I feel like I know exactly what you're talking about there. Go ahead.
Because I don't feel like there was nothing to be entertained by in this movie. But I don't feel like there was a heck of a lot. Because you get to a certain point in this movie, and then your friend breaks your toys. And then it derails after that. But, just like playing in a sandbox with your friends when you're a kid, I mean, it's not like it had a lot of substance to begin with. You were just having fun.
That's a good point, yeah.
And I would say
the question I would have is, were you having
fun? Fantastic Four, Marvel's first family. Despite the colossal success of superhero comics in the late 1930s and 1940s, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, all characters owned by national periodical publications, now known as DC Comics, were the only survivors of their genre in 1951. Fantastic Four were created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Marvel's first family. And for some reason, Fox Studios can't seem to get them right on screen. We've had, 2 movies in 2005? And now this piece of crap movie in 2015. You think they would have learned by now? Long story short, this movie sucked badly. I mean, granted, not the easiest groupie on screen, but come on. After 2 failures in 2005 and 2007, you'd think they would learn, but they clearly did not. You know what their freaking origin is? It's a freaking lab accident in space. That's what it is. That's all it is. And Dr. Doom is a scientist, not a freaking hacker, not some whatever the hell they made him in this freaking movie. I don't know what the hell that was. That was not Dr. Doom. Sorry. This is the same freaking studio that made X-Men Days of Future Past. And then they produced this piece of crap. Somehow. I don't know how, but they did. It sucked. There's no character development. There's horrible dialogue. Dr. Doom was horrible. He looks awful. The Thing looks freaking awful. His voice sounds like a little freaking girl. Now, a lot of you have a controversy about Johnny Storm being a different color. I don't really care about that. Because regardless of what color he is, his character doesn't really work in this movie. Because the script is horrible. It's horrible. It was like, how is it so hard to get these freaking characters on screen? They're Marvel's first family. I mean, like, it doesn't really matter what studio is making them. Because I highly doubt Marvel would do anything better because Ant-Man sucked. And so Age of Ultron. So it's like, it's a toss-up, you know? You need really good writers, and this movie does not have really good writers. They can just tell. It was a nice step in the right direction with the dimension stuff. Like, I'm guessing that was a negative zone. Because this whole movie is a freaking origin story. It's a big, long, boring origin story. It was like Amazing Spider-Man, just the first one, just like worse. Because like it's the same crap. It's like, I don't need to see a little freaking 5-year-old Reed Richards, man. I know who he is. You see this freaking boring relationship with him and Ben crying over each other. Get to the damn movie. Get to the freaking story. I want to see the Fantastic Four, not this stupid. Flipping through this book called Marvel Universe. I mean, they act like Dr. Doom was the only freaking villain. Mole Man, Annihilus, Puppet Master. I mean, come on, man, get creative. Jeez. I mean, they still haven't gotten Dr. Doom right at all. So maybe they should focus on that first. They killed him off. Spoiler, they killed him off again. But don't worry, they'll probably bring him back with Clyde Galactus in the sequel, if it ever gets made. Don't hold your breath, though. Being like, it was okay, you know? I mean, it's not horrible, but I'm just not feeling it. Just wasted so much time in the beginning. The first, like, half hour, 45 minutes, is unnecessary because it takes away from the rest of the movie. And when you get to the final climax, it's like 10 minutes long. There's no action in this freaking movie. It's a bunch of random freaking horrible dialogue. No character development. Bland story. With like next to no plot. I like the science elements, but this movie does not know what it wants to be, you know? And that's the problem. There's no what it wants to be. I mean, using an example, Ant-Man was supposed to be a heist film, but then once it got to the ant stuff, it fell apart as far as I'm concerned. But, you know. It's like, and they had Johnny and Sue's dad, Franklin Storm, who in the comics doesn't even really exist, honestly. They're the orphans. I mean, they took all the influence from this movie comes from the Ultimate Comics for Fantastic Four, Ultimate Universe. I can't stand Ultimate Universe for Fantastic Four. That's another reason why I hate this movie. I hate the Ultimate Universe. Ugh. I mean, Johnny says flame on once. Once in the entire freaking movie he said flame on. Then says clobbering time on the least important one of the freaking movie. It's like, it's clobbering time. Now I'm going to randomly punch the villain into the black hole thing. Because I guess it's about time I did something important instead of crying a little girl. Yeah, thanks, Fox. Again. Like, at least with the other ones, they had an actual dude in a suit. This was just a freaking CGI mess with the thing. It's like, what is this? I'm watching Geekvolution and their thoughts on the movie. This movie isn't really. I don't think it's really worth watching again. It's like, jeez. The thing that really bothers me, outside of the Fantastic Four, why can't they get Doctor freaking Doom right, man? It's the same freaking studio that makes X-Men, and those movies are freaking great. Not all of them, but the last two have been great. So, and then they got Deadpool coming out next year. That looks like freaking amazing. So why can't they get these guys right? I mean, there's tons of stories they could do. If they didn't waste people's time with the origin, I don't need to see little freaking 5-year-old Reed Richards doing show and tell in the beginning of the damn movie. Get to the good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Get to the important stuff. Stuff I paid to see. Oh, laughing so hard when a kid was out there. Like, man, I did not think it was possible to make a villain that was worse than Ultron. But this movie did it. And they did it. Dr. Doom, this movie is worse than Ultron. He has no substance, no motivation for what he's doing. He looks horrible. If you even want to call him Dr. Doom, because that wasn't Dr. Doom. That is another excuse for Fox to screw up the Fantastic Four again. Hopefully this time we can get them back like Marvel. So we can finally get a Skrull War or something. That's what I want to see. It's like, I've been defending this movie from the beginning. That's the thing that hurts the most. I've been defending this movie from the moment it was announced. I'm like, oh, give it a chance. Oh, Black Johnny Storm? Give him a chance. It'll be okay. And then I finally see the freaking movie. It sucked. Everything was freaking possible. And the whole thing about Fantastic Four that makes them different than other characters in the Marvel Universe, they're a family of four. Dysfunctional, but family nonetheless. And Reed Richards and Doom were supposed to be rivals. I mean, like, once again, they got the stupid Susan Storm got a relationship with Dr. Doom crap going on. I'm like, didn't we go through this crap before? And then go anywhere. She's supposed to be with Reed. Put her with Reed. Stop with the freaking supervillain needs to be with the hero crap. You got me? Why do those supervillains always have to know the heroes in these freaking movies? Why can't the supervillain have his own motivations for wanting to beat the crap out of the hero? Why can't Dr. Doom be a scientist who's from Latveria who owns his own freaking country? Why can't you do that? Let's see what else they have to say. Catherine Vince.
I would say I was legitimately enjoying myself for probably about the first 45 minutes of the movie. I will not say that I was sitting there thinking, this is great, but I will say that I was sitting there going, this is all right. I mean, I feel like maybe it's going somewhere. We'll see where it goes. I'll give them some more time. And I'm like, it's origin. Okay, I know. Let's have some fun. And then it gets to a point where I feel like they started forgetting the rules of their universe, and they started forgetting that characters need to make choices based on their character, and rather than what somebody said, well, this seems like a good chance to make everybody really angry at this guy. Yeah. So they have, and I guess that's one of the problems that I've always had with Fantastic Four Origins, is that they give so much screen time to the I hate you, Reed, I'm sorry, Ben relationship. And in this one, it was kind of like Reed made these out-of-character choices that gave credence to those feelings for everybody. Yeah. And I kind of understood why everybody hated Reed. I didn't understand why Reed made his choices.
But at the same time, I'm not sure that I understood those people in the first place either all that well. I mean, I don't know that everyone else was, was better characterized or more, thickly characterized than he was.
Yeah, I think this is a good place to have actual discussion. So let's flip your side.
Well, you gotta do your.
Oh, right.
Vince doesn't do this show all that often. Before you do that, okay, you've done it. And
No, I didn't know it.
Oh, you didn't do it. Okay, I thought you did. Before you do that, real quick, this might be a good time to ask the question: is part of the problem here that Fantastic Four is just a really difficult thing to bring to screen? Is that what it is, or does it just feel that way because we've been burned 3 times now? I'm not counting Rise of the Silver Surfer because that's part of the same burn.
It sure feels like that, but I think that people are afraid to bring Fantastic Four to the screen in the way that Fantastic Four originated, and I do think there's a reason for that. There are certain things in the Fantastic Four origin that don't quite make sense today. Why was Johnny Storm part of the original team? I mean, you go back, Sue was just the girlfriend, and Johnny Storm was the friend or the little brother of the girlfriend. Why do they even need to come along? I guess he's trying to impress a girl. And then you fast forward, and they've started trying to. They've pushed Sue into this box, and then I go, okay, now we have more of a reason to have these people here. And then we get to this movie, and they're trying to shove people into this box some more. I'm like, okay, we're getting closer. So I see this movie, and I think people are starting to realize that there needs to be a reason for people to be involved in this.
Yeah, I agree with you that there were some attempts at making some things make a little bit more logical sense than they have before.
At least within the first 30 minutes.
All kinds of logical fallacies that the characters themselves are making, so that's not helping or anything. But I guess my question just broadly, Vince, is, I mean, can a more modern interpretation be done of Fantastic Four where we would take it more seriously in this day and age, with the powers being as hokey as they are to people? You know, some people, they just feel like, you know, those 4 people with powers. I don't really understand that. I feel like they're not any weirder than the X-Men's powers. You put 6 or 7 of those guys together, and I think you get into the problem of, well, they all get them at exactly the same time. Why are they different? Why do they get different powers from going to the same place? I feel like that was maybe handled slightly better here than I've seen it before. It at least wasn't we all got hit by one wave, but it was kind of we all stuck our fingers in this one thing.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. The origin was done slightly better. That's like comparing the Raimi to the Mark Webb Spider-Man films. The origin, the Amazing was a little bit better, but they got it right spot on in the Raimi films first. Then they added all this extra crap with the parents and blah, blah, blah. Same thing here, just set less development and less story. Origin was done slightly better, and just don't understand some things like, why does Doom always have to be this thing? He's not even close to his comic book counterpart. First 2 movies from 2005, he was a freaking businessman or some crap. And this one, he's a hacker or something. What? Why? Why?
I liked that scene to a certain extent.
Yeah, me too.
But it was shot so fast that, and they showed certain things happening. I'm like, I guess it would make sense if what's happening in my mind is actually what I saw.
Yeah.
But I feel like what's happening in my mind is like half of what they wanted me to believe.
I think it was supposed to look almost kind of horror-inspired, like look how traumatic this is, look how awful it is.
Which sounds effective.
And I thought that was effective also. I just wish that I cared more about those characters. Okay, flip your sign real quick.
Really want to, but I don't. I don't feel it. I'm not feeling it.
It's unfortunate. I also want to say, of course, that if you can make me, and it's not a perfect movie, but if you can make me buy Ant-Man on screen, I feel like the Fantastic Four is kind of a no-brainer.
Yes.
Exactly.
You thought I was going to break your sign, didn't you?
No.
Yeah, how can you get Ant-Man on screen, but you can't get the damn Fantastic Four right? Doesn't make any sense. Ant-Man, dude who can shrink, and you got 4 scientists with powers you can't get right. Again, 3rd time in a row, people. Not counting the one from the 70s, but 3 times in a row. 3 flops. Still can't get him right. Can't get Dr. Doom right for some reason. I'm guessing now with the negative zone when they get to the powers this time. So where's Annihilus? Why couldn't they just have something more interesting in this movie instead of a boring ass origin? I know who Reed Richards is. I know who Johnny Storm is. I know who Susan Storm is. I know who Ben Grimm is. I know who Dr. Doom is. They'll need to see your freaking origin. All these chumps coming together for the first freaking time. Wasting time with this stupid romance with Reed and Sue. I don't need to see again. And Franklin Storm has no purpose in this movie. Just, my name is Franklin Storm. I have no personality. I'm just here to die at the end of the movie. Spoiler, she dies in the movie.
Honestly, it would have been warranted this time. Like, if that was the one time that somebody slammed that sign and it totally broke, I think this would be the right time for that. Don't do it, though. Don't do it. I would not. Vince, I'm kind of sad, buddy. I'm a little disappointed. I'm more than a little disappointed. And everybody in the comments, or a lot of people in the comments, are probably right now saying, "Well, we told you so. We told you so." But the thing is, Ben, you just have that's so appropriate. It never gets. I know. We can't not do it this time. But the problem. See, there's not a. It's not even like the question. The problem is. That's my superhero name. I'm the problem. I'm the problem. My sidekick's the conundrum. The problem, I think, is that what were we even talking about? Is that I know. Sorry, is that a lot of people, of course, really didn't like this project was happening, and I thought were kind of jumping the gun and hating it before they had a reason to. And they got the movie expecting to and looking for reasons to hate it. Yeah, and I wasn't looking for I really wanted to like it, and I can't say that I wasn't affected at all by early reviews. I didn't want to see them. We made the mistake of making a video the other day of doing an excerpt from the radio show about the notion of eventually having a Fantastic Four X-Men crossover movie before we'd even seen this movie. And because I looked at comments from that video, it was really hard not to hear things about early reviews. So, it's really hard for me not to get away from hearing things like 13% on Rotten Tomatoes, and people are saying that it's really, really mediocre, run-of-the-mill, obvious superhero fare, and there's just not anything to it, and all that stuff. And so yes, I was thinking all those things and hoping that I just didn't agree with them, but I got there, and a lot of that I did end up sort of agreeing with. I don't think it's, I don't think it was warranted that folks were so down on it before they saw it. But now that I've seen it, it's warranted to be down on it. Yeah, not prejudice. Oh man, like Vince. There's just nothing there. Here's what I said, Vince. And I really mean this. This movie made me feel like asking Vince to punch me in the face and make sure I was still alive. That's how I felt about it. I thought that halfway through, about the point that you decided that you weren't having fun anymore. I don't care about anyone involved. They don't feel like real people to me. This is. Somebody called this the Green Lantern of 2015. Yeah, I can't disagree with that because I had a lot of the same problems with this that I did with that. This feels like the Fantastic Four movie somebody would have tried to make 10, 15 years ago, which is weird because they did, and it's a different. And I'm gonna say this: the other two Fantastic Four movies, not the one that wasn't released, but the Tim Story ones. I don't remember if he did the second one, but whatever. But FF and Rise of the Silver Surfer. I have said all kinds of negative things about those. There's all kinds of things I don't like about them. I have a lot of issues with character stuff, a lot of unsympathetic things, tons and tons of stuff that I don't like. Galactus is a giant cloud. Tons of things. Both of them 3 times more watchable than this movie. Yeah. I can't believe I'm saying that's really sad. This has different problems. It's just dull. It's really boring. I hate to say that. The first 40 minutes don't need to be there, and that was the good part. Yeah, but that sucks because the story starts before the story starts. How much do we really get to know those characters beyond just like really easy throwaway superficial things where okay, and this girl is into pattern, is able to see patterns, and she's kind of like unemotional and kind of a rock, which is funny because she's not the rock creature, but nothing's really done with that. I mean, we don't have any cool stuff with like the powers that are reflecting personality traits and things like that. You don't have to have that. I'm just saying there's like nothing interesting done with these ideas. There's some things here and there that are kind of thrown in. I tell you what I like. I like the idea that the FF get their powers because they're irresponsible, and then they kind of learn how to be responsible. I mean, it might end up being too much like a Spider-Man thing, but the difference, of course, is that Spider-Man didn't get his powers because he was irresponsible necessarily. I guess there's, an Amazing Spider-Man kind of, because he didn't need to walk in that room. But that was trying to discover his origins, so I can kind of appreciate that to a degree. I'm running off with myself anyway. But you see what I'm saying? I kind of like that idea. I don't feel like we really do anything with it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the problem all the way through. I feel like nobody was really excited to make this movie. And I think at one time they were, and it just feels like a movie that nobody was sure about. It feels kind of timid to me. It feels really by the numbers and safe, and that's weird because it's just, like I said, it's just kind of dull. It's dull as a rock. Why isn't the Thing wearing pants? I didn't think that was I'm not sure why he's not wearing pants, because
he still has eyes. You're telling me he doesn't have a dork?
But I hate to say, I wasn't gonna go quite that crude with it, but I was.
I tried to clean it up.
I'm surprised that I'm even going, bringing this up and going this far, but it made it difficult for me not to think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? I was like, how does his body even function? I mean, I just started wondering about biological stuff. I mean, how exactly does it work? I'm sorry. I was about to move on to another topic. Go ahead.
In my head, it makes sense that there's a plot point later in the movie where everybody's like, there's a question about survival in that terrain. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And the fact that the Thing seems to have no ability to evacuate waste from his system means that he probably doesn't eat.
Yeah.
Therefore,
maybe he doesn't have to.
He probably is just sustained by this power in his body.
The thing is, of course, in regular FF lore, and this is a thing that I thought that they got pretty right in the original movie. Although the whole thing with his wife, I thought was really silly and too easy. But I mean, but I felt like these characters were drawn about as finally as she was as Thing's wife in the first movie. Like that's where we're at here, I think. I mean, like the Thing is a really tragic character, and you feel for him, and you wish he could revert back to regular human form, and I didn't feel any of that at all. Part of my problem with this movie is that I keep forgetting that certain characters are there, and what's bizarre about it is it's not because we're focusing too much on one over the others. Really? I'm not even sure what it is. It's just I don't feel like characters making choices and my getting their heads is in any way whatsoever moving the story along, and I don't even want to go that far. It's also just not fun. I mean, like we're taking ourselves so seriously, but then we're not doing anything. Like,
I would almost go so far to say that the main character in this movie is the teleportation device.
Wow, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I don't feel at all for Dr. Doom, and weirdly, I feel like he is almost one of the most sympathetic characters because he doesn't have a lot of contention. But the weird thing about him is that he's super jaded, and I just don't buy it and don't really understand why. And it all seems really petty. And they're kind of high school kids that just started going to college. Well, Doom, I guess, has been there for a while. But I mean, like you could have done a thing where, with the whole petty jealousy thing, where these kids are immature, and this is kind of their coming of age story and their metaphor for puberty or figuring out the world or discovering who they are, that kind of thing. You can do that kind of Spider-Man thing with it, and they just aren't playing with those things, and so I just feel like it's this simple. Dr. Doom hates Reed Richards because he's as smart as he is, and Johnny Storm is jaded because he's living in his father's shadow, kind or something. I don't even know what's going on there. Really, it's like he has no direction,
His
and
dad
so
has more love for the sciencey stuff than he does for him, I guess.
Okay, I guess that's what it is. So he's jealous of his dad, and
they point towards that, but they never there's nothing that comes out of it. It's I'm annoyed with you because.
And then after they get their powers, where a lot of their feelings about their powers come from is kind of a dice roll in my mind. Now Johnny really wants to keep his powers, I guess, because he had no direction before. That one I guess I can kind of sort of buy, but there's not any dimension to him. I mean, it's just this throwaway thing. Vince, the movie is like 90 minutes, and it feels like a slog. It feels a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
I'm so baffled. I'm not to give too much away, but I'm so baffled by the time jump. I mean,
Yeah.
once that happened, I found myself just going, I don't know why we needed all that time spent around, they're building the machine and all of that.
You're going to belabor the fact that they were kids trying to build this thing, but you're not going to belabor their, learning to use their own powers?
Yeah.
That's so insane to me.
And again, that's part of why it makes the first movie seem like a better movie, because I've always complained that movie is some people get powers and then they deal with having powers. This movie is some people mess around for a while and play with some technology, and then they get powers, but too late for us to do anything interesting with it or have any fun with it at all.
Why can't this movie do what The Incredible Hulk did? I mean, I'm not saying The Incredible Hulk was a perfect movie. I just don't understand why we can't start doing that with more things. Great, I understand that through some means of mystical technology, because, it's not real science, this mystical technology...
Well, pseudoscience. Within the world, it's real science.
Why can't we say that they have created something and then go from there, rather than having to spend the entire movie building something to have an effect?
I mean, the dramatic writing, Vince, isn't good enough to do that. You can make anything work. I've always said that, and I feel like if this was more like, and a lot of people don't like this movie, but if this was a little bit more like Amazing Spider-Man, where the focus was on the interpersonal relationships, and I think it thinks it is. But man, there's some really awkward exchanges. Really awkward exchange, bizarre lines of dialogue. Reed and Sue have no chemistry whatsoever. And what's really bizarre is, and obviously I'm bringing what I know about Fantastic Four to this. You get to the end of the, I shouldn't, say too much, I guess. But I'm not even sure if they're supposed to like each other at all.
Yeah.
Really? Anyway.
It seems like the fact that they become a team is not because of who they are, but because they were all on this mission together.
Yeah.
They don't really seem to be friends. I mean, they firmly establish at the beginning that Reed Richards and Ben Grimm are friends. They establish that pretty hardcore, not because they have anything in common. It's just they happen to be friends because one needs parts and the other one works in a junkyard. And works. His family owns a junkyard and he has access. So that's why they're friends.
I mean, these are really just stick figures with one personality trait written on their foreheads, right? And pretty much, right?
It's like, works in a junkyard, has no potential.
Yeah. And I mean, the movie works really hard at the beginning. I mean, if anybody gets more screen time than anybody and is supposed to be the main character over anybody else, because it's kind of an ensemble piece, of course, it is Reed Richards. And I feel like at the beginning of the movie, it's working really hard to try to make us appreciate the fact that nobody understands him and nobody understands what he's able to do. But I don't buy it at all. I mean, it seems like we're kind of dumbing all these people down and creating this weird cartoon world where no one can even get their head around the notion of interdimensional travel. In 2007 and then in 2015, and they firmly tell you what the dates are. So we're not even remotely outside of time here, like making time ambiguous, right? No, this day and age, everybody goes and sees these kinds of movies. We're all familiar with those kinds of concepts by now. You know what I mean? And like I've seen some people try to defend it a little bit by saying that it's sort of a throwback to older like superhero things and simpler things and early even superhero movies and stuff. But I'm just not quite buying it. I don't know if that's what it wants to be. I don't know that it's trying to be like a melodrama. I think it thinks it's a real modern drama.
It's super mellow. Like there's speeches all over the place. The character interaction is basically either exposition or which is weird because we don't even learn the reason why Doom is such a feared guy within this community of scientists and military guys. They're like, he should be locked up. Like, what did he do?
What exactly is he? Well, I mean,
he's a jerk. Is that why he's?
Well, I mean, there's something about him setting fire to something, but that's about it. Like, yeah,
because it doesn't seem like it was on purpose.
Well, and he seems to sort of maybe have something against the system, and he thinks that like we're destroying ourselves, and of course that plays into what happens, later on toward the end of the movie. But we don't spend any time with that, so I don't know where exactly that comes from. Again, that kind of thing could be interesting. Of course, the Storm's father, who is kind of responsible for beginning all this stuff in the first place with the machine. He has this whole notion of we should, go explore this other dimension because it might have resources where we can, keep from destroying ourselves. And again, that's just kind of they kind of put a pin in that and then move on. And it's mentioned every now and again, but we're not really, exploring that or doing really any social commentary or anything like that.
It goes nowhere. It's just a reason for him wanting to be there.
Yeah, and he drove me crazy. What's really one thing I should say is that we have a lot of really, really amazing actors that are completely wasted. Yeah, in a couple different ways, by the way, completely wasted, and because it's a major plot point, the scene where people are completely wasted, and there's now he's got it. There we go.
That's so true.
but like that guy is the I don't have his name in front of me. Is the my favorite character in House of Cards, the guy who owns the barbecue place, and he is a walking science paper. In this entire it's
motivational.
It's hilarious. And yeah, every line of dialogue he has is some sort of a moral platitude or some kind of a it's almost like all of his dialogue came out of a quote book. Like a wise sayings kind of book, and I realize that he's supposed to fill that role, but again, there's nothing to him. We're belaboring this, but I don't know, it just doesn't work. It's uninspired. Like it's not. There's just not a lot of creative stuff in it, even in the action and stuff. And I should also mention that some of the special effects work is really shoddy. Yeah. And even some of the directing and editing is weird. Like there's some bizarre cuts and things like that. I mean, like it really feels like a movie that was hobbled together and that they were trepidatious about. And I wonder how much that early fan reaction to hearing certain things affected is sort of like Ninja Turtles. What else is weird is that we're ending this year, our kind of superhero movie season the same way we did last year's, because I said that Ninja Turtles was the most like mediocre, run of the mill, dime a dozen superhero movie I'd seen since Green Lantern, and this tops that.
Yeah. At least I didn't feel like Turtles was taking itself seriously.
Yeah, exactly. I almost want to say I actually enjoyed that movie a little bit more than this, which is bizarre. I don't know. I don't want to say that, but
I'll say this: I like that Johnny Storm has something to do.
What do you mean?
I like that he's not just the kid brother. I like that he seems to he brings something to the table. You look at the Fantastic Four stuff by Story, and he brings something to the table that's already on the table.
But just in the origin, I mean, and I realize that too much of this movie is that, but past that, like I said, I somewhat keep forgetting that he's there.
Yeah.
And his point seems to be the same thing that it is in those movies, which is no, having superpowers is great. We're not doing anything like as much with that as we were even there, and I still felt like there wasn't, a a lot of story there, so much as just talking about it.
And I think one of the things that bothers me the most is that Ben Grimm is one of the two guys from the original story that had a reason to be there, and they took his reason away. Took it away. And that just bothers the crap out of me. And I feel like this is a 3-part Saturday morning cartoon from the early 90s.
It felt a little TV movie-ish to me in places, I gotta be honest. And it felt like
Profanity in it.
And it also felt sort of like nobody had ever made a Fantastic Four movie. I mean, like, who is this for, right? Like it feels like another one of those, and I'm so sick of talking about these things. I don't know why we're spending this much time on it. We'll wrap up here in a second. Of course, we are going to do a spoiler cast Sunday night on this. I don't know how long that's going to be, but anyway, it's got that thing that so many of these do, where we've just got to kill time for a couple hours, or in this case, not even a couple hours, to establish these characters because an audience is stupid and they can't get caught up.
Let's see. They made a lot of great points, by the way. But I want to talk about some of the Fantastic Four's villains, particularly some I would love to see on screen. Forgetting Doctor Doom, because they can't seem to get that guy right for some damn reason. I can't figure it out. And I'm a smart guy. I can't figure it out. But you got the Mole Man right here. The Mole Man. I believe there was a video game back in the day. I remember playing it for my PS2. It's pretty good. He fought Doom at the end, of course, but he had Mole Man, Puppet Master, and I think Diablo at one point in the game. It's pretty good. A multiplayer game. And I think that could work on screen. I mean, the Fantastic Four are explorers, you know? They go different dimensions. They interact with aliens, different species, the Skrulls. I mean, they could do something pretty interesting if they really put their minds to it, but they don't want to do it. It's like they're afraid to take that step off the plank and actually take a leap of freaking faith, you know? I mean, the X-Men Days of Future Past had freaking robots in the movie, for Pete's sake. Sentinels, robots. It worked, you know? Some changes here and there from the comics, but it still worked. I mean, Mole Man, you know, I remember watching this show called Fantastic Four: World's Greatest Heroes. I had one season, but I bought it on DVD for like $5 from the dollar store. And this guy went specifically after Ben Grimm because Ben feels like an outsider among the humans. Now, that would be a great story to tell on screen because Ben Grimm is no different than the Hulk, really. Wants to be left alone and, in a way, blames Reed for becoming what he becomes because it was Reed's idea in a way for him to go into space. And they kind of play that whole thing where everyone hates Reed because it was his idea, but at the same time, even though it was his idea, they all agreed to go with him, so they're just as stupid as he is. This is why it's like, no, an Impossible Man. First appearance in 1976. Pencil and ink by Jack Kirby. I mean, it could be interesting. I mean, you could always, you know, I mean, they're bringing Apocalypse on the screen for Pete's sake in the X-Men movies. Sure, it looks like Ivan Ooze, you know. Diablo could be cool. I mean, Psycho Man, never heard of him, but there's no substance in this movie. There's no character development. I don't seem to care about any of them on screen. I should care for Ben the most because of what he becomes, but I don't. For some strange reason, I don't. It kind of bothers me because he's such a relatable character. How many of us feel like outsiders? I mean, it could be because of your skin color, your race. I know all of us feel like outsiders. I mean, it's part of life sometimes, you know. But it's like, at least in the other one, the first one from 2005, At least they introduced a couple different characters. And they set up for other movies. They had Alicia Masters introduced. Alicia Masters is the niece of the Puppet Master in the comics. Puppet Master, basically a crazy guy who can manipulate people with his, strings or whatever. I don't know what the whole origin, but he could be potentially interesting if they have good writers for the movie. But I'm not gonna hold my breath when that happens anytime soon because this movie's ass. It's thick. There's nothing there in the movie. It's an hour and change, and for an hour and change, they sure do waste a lot of freaking time in the origin story. They could have told the freaking origin in about 30 seconds in opening credits of the freaking movie. It's as simple as Hulk's origin, a lab accident. That's it. Spider-Man, spider bite. That's it. Fantastic Four, accident in space. Explorers in space, lab accident. That's it. Batman, parents got shot. Rich guy, trains in the freaking mountains. That's it. Superman, guy from another freaking planet. Alien. That's it. It's really not that complicated. You don't need freaking hour and a half to explain these characters where they come from. We've seen Superman in the 70s and the 70s. Seen Batman in the freaking 60s and the 80s. And Fantastic Four have been around since what, the 60s? First family for Marvel, and they can't seem to get these guys right on screen. Agency with no chemistry, again. Johnny, I don't know, man. Nothing to do with the actor, just they don't give him that much material to work with. Some people complain about that with Man of Steel with Henry Cavill, that he doesn't have that much material. I kind of agree, and I kind of don't, because I actually like that movie. But my main problem is Doctor Doom, because you can make these four characters work, but if you don't have a good villain, there's no purpose in the movie. If you don't have someone for the heroes to overcome, what's the point of making them heroes? Doctor Doom was about as bland as Yellow Jacket was in Ant-Man. I mean, that guy looked cool on screen, but his character, as far as being a villain, no substance whatsoever. Nothing. I didn't care what happened to him. I didn't care what happened to what's his name? Lang or whatever his name is. But, man, this is the third flop I've seen this year. Won't be anything else until, next May with Captain America Civil War? 3 action films right back to back. Apocalypse, Gambit, and Deadpool. That's it. Next year is next time I'm going to see a Marvel film. Next year. We're in August now, and wow. I'm just really disappointed in this movie. It's a shame. Look at this, Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom. In Doctor Doom, Lee and Kirby combine numerous archetypal figures to match scientists like Dr. Frankenstein with the evil sorcerer of myth. The oppressive king with the modern totalitarian dictator and the dark armored knight with the brooding unappreciated genius. He's a stark contrast to storybook castle. Contains a high-tech laboratory. His outward elegance and refinement coexist with his ruthless lust for power, and as with the Phantom of the Opera, his fearsome mask and costume can fuel a man both physically and emotionally scarred. The full page of Doom is from a scene in which Sue and Crystal, rushing to his castle, suddenly come face to face with him across a long dinner table. He anticipates a similar sequence featuring Doom look like Darth Vader in The Empire Strikes Back. Funny. So yeah, for some reason we can't seem to get this Doctor Doom on screen. Came close in the 2005 movie, but I don't know what that was either. Like, Got the costume right, but the character was not right. He's not a bloody businessman. He's not whatever he was in this movie. He's a bloody scientist. You could say he does sorcery, but it's science. You know, it's science. And Reed Richards are supposed to be rivals. I don't know what they're doing with this guy, but I don't get it. Yeah, he's always got the power. They came close to getting him right in the Rise of the Silver Surfer. When they went after the Surfer's powers, but then they killed him off again. So it's like, step in the right direction, then they went back, they killed him off again. Yeah, I don't know. And I'm talking to my mom in the car, I'm like, the cast is talking about what they want to see in the sequel. I'm thinking to myself, don't bother. No one's gonna freaking watch it. I was talking to this kid in the bathroom when I was going out. He agreed with me wholeheartedly. He was like, yeah, this movie sucked, man. Coming of Galactus. Not the Fantastic Four took down Galactus on top of the Baxter building in the comics. Galactus, not that stupid cloud thing they got in the Rise of the Silver Surfer. The actual Galactus. They might as well have had Deadpool breaking the fourth wall in the movie. That might have made it worth watching. As far as the X-Men crossing over, it's never gonna freaking happen. They keep flopping this Fantastic Four. No one's gonna freaking want to see the X-Men with them. So I'll bring that freaking X-Men down too. Hour and 47 minutes. Unfortunately, that's time I can never get back. So, as far as a rating for this movie, I don't know if I should even bother giving it a rating. Doesn't even deserve that.